Oh my goodness. How old are you, sir? If you don't mind my asking.
44.
Your black did not crack. Because I thought you were in your 30s. I thought you were in your 30s. Okay, forgive me. Welcome to Mornings with Muva. Let me introduce you to the people. Dr. Karl Morris is a computer scientist, educator, and small business owner who is running as a progressive Democrat for Congress in Pennsylvania's 3rd District. You're born in Jamaica. Lord, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
Born in Jamaica, and you just brought tears to my eyes. Born in Jamaica and raised through hardship, he came to the United States and eventually completed his bachelor's, master's, and PhD in computer science after working his way through community college and civil service work. For more than a decade, he has served as a professor at Temple University, focusing on technology, problem solving, and access to a community. We're going to talk about exactly where the 3rd District is, but welcome to Mornings with Muva. I just looked at my lineup from my producer because I've been focusing on Jamaica, and so I had no idea you were born and raised in the island. Did not.
Yes. It's been thrust into the news.
Yeah.
I've checked in with friends and family. All are doing okay. I'm still trying to reach out to others. Some people are experiencing power cuts and what have you, but everyone I've checked in with so far is safe and well.
Okay. I am on a mission to interview people who are running for office, particularly for Congress.
Sure.
And so I have my producer reaching out to folks, and it's whether you're a Democrat or Republican, right? I want to give this platform so that people can know who you are, why you're running for office, etc. So can you share how your early life experience shaped your decision to run for Congress, and tell us where the 3rd Congressional District is, please, in Pennsylvania?
Absolutely. Well, I'll take the last question first. So the 3rd District can be thought of easily as everything west of Broad. So that is everything from Chestnut Hill all the way down to South Philadelphia. So that's Southwest Philly, Manayunk, Nicetown, Germantown, you name it, Mount Airy, which is actually where I am. I'm in Cedarbrook, Mount Airy East area. That entire area, Strawberry Mansion, all of those neighborhoods, if you're west of Broad or in South Philadelphia, you're in the 3rd District.
Okay, thank you.
So in terms of what sort of led me here, as you mentioned a bit earlier, I faced a lot of challenges, to sort of get where I am today. And a lot of why I ended up where I am is, I've made some good decisions. Some lucky decisions, not knowing where the road would take you necessarily, but I was able to sort of, through education, for the most part, sort of chart a new course for my life. And it's brought me to where I am now. Today, I'm an educator trying to help people because I recognize the value of education and I'm trying to impart that. But I also recognize that sometimes people are in circumstances where it's not enough to say, hey, you need to make the right decisions. It's not enough to say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. We do, from time to time, need to provide some help, some assistance to people who are facing challenges. And it's not enough to say, well, we should rely on the kindness of strangers. People are kind, people are good, but people have their own lives and their own challenges they're trying to address. At the end of the day, it is the government's job to make sure that the citizens of a country are safe and secure and healthy. And the ways that we do that are to ensure that certain basic commodities are provided for, certain basic services are provided for. And far too often, governments seem to either lose sight of that or their priorities are all skewed. So why am I running for Congress? I'm running for Congress because I recognize that sometimes people need help. The government needs to provide a basic level of services to its citizens. I don't believe Congress is focused on that or recognizes that. And I'm running to try to do what I can to change that.
Wow. So I have to tell you, I'm not sure how many people knew you were running for Congress because the field is crowded. So I'm grateful for us to get to know you and what you are about. What specific problem-solving mindset do you bring that distinguishes you from the typical candidate?
Okay, so thanks for that question. So I am a computer scientist, a professor at Temple, but I study computer science. And when people hear computer science, they tend to think, understandably but incorrectly, that it is about tech and IT, when it isn't that at all. Computer science, at its core, is the field of problem solving. And it doesn't matter what the problem is. If it is a problem that can be solved through human intervention, computer science is about determining what that solution can look like. So the steps involved are looking at the problem and breaking it down to its component parts, and then identifying steps to solve that problem, recognizing what is required based on how the problem is constituted, what the environment looks like, and what the impact of each of these steps would be. So it's looking at intended and unintended consequences. So at its core, computer science is about computational thinking, which is how do you, in a stepwise fashion, solve the problem that's in front of you? And whether that problem is how do you address an eroding democracy of a lawless president, all the way up to how do you address issues relating to the fallout in the job market that will be caused by AI. These are the type of things where my formal training for over 20 years can actually be an asset. That's what sets me apart from the other candidates in this field. I am about solving problems.
Right. Wow. Okay. Because I have some follow-up questions after I ask you these.
Sure.
You're running for Pennsylvania's 3rd Congressional District, covering parts of Philadelphia. In a super crowded field of Democrats, what's your strategy for standing out and earning voters' trust?
So my strategy is about being authentic. It's about leaning into who I am, my identity, my skill sets. And again, as I mentioned before, that is, by and large, I'm a serious problem solver. I take a look at what's in front of me, recognize the scope, and I'm always trying to fix the problem that is presented. And you can tell the difference between me and many of the other candidates. If you were to right now, on this date, go look at the websites for the Harrisburg politicians who are running for Congress. You'll see pictures and you'll see a big donate button, but not much else. Because they're not even pretending to have solutions. They're not even pretending to know what they're going to Congress to do. They just want a promotion because as a politician, that's what you do, right? You get promoted to the next office. Go to my website. Just Google Karl for Congress or go to karlforcongress.us. You will see an issues tab. And when you click on that tab, not only will you see a bulleted list of some of the issues that I want to address, but you'll see a breakdown, exactly how I see the problem and exactly how we should approach it. Because again, I am serious about problem solving. I am not trying to pretend to be some affable, likable, I'm running around and taking pictures with everyone. No, I am saying I am running because I do problem solving. Here's how I want to address these things. I have mechanisms for folks to reach out to me to discuss some of these challenges and bring new things to my attention. That's how I'm going to set myself apart, by being serious about how we go about solving the problems that are facing this country.
Okay. Now, if you've decided to run for Congress, then you are aware of the Philadelphia politics and how it is decided that who will be the next person. Is it Karl, Karl, FOR, Congress?
That is correct. Karl with a K and FOR, karlforcongress.us.
This has always been, here you are. Well, okay then. Okay then.
I'm about problem solving.
Yeah, I can see. You recognize, and I have to ask you this question, that there are going to be people who don't take you seriously because they're like, he's not a part of the what do they call it? The legacy politics, the establishment politics.
Correct.
So how are you going to stand out, like Mandami did? Like how are you going to get your voice heard in a sea of people who are politicians, right?
Correct.
Because as you can see, it's just, somebody just wrote, very refreshing.
I think that comment kind of sums it up.
Mhm.
Me not being a part of the establishment is an asset.
Mhm.
If we take a look at the Harrisburg politicians and we try to say, okay, what have they been doing to help my life, to make my life better? We are 6 months overdue with a budget. SEPTA, buses and trains, those things have been around for 200 years.
Mhm.
They've kicked the can down the road. They couldn't figure out how to do funding for our public transit system. And right now, it seems like each of those politicians are trying to get out of Dodge. They're trying to get out of Harrisburg before the bill comes due in 2 years. They've not been able to solve these challenges. How are they going to solve issues relating to self-driving cars? How are they going to solve issues relating to AI in healthcare, or how it's going to disrupt the job market, or as we saw recently, artificial intelligence contracts being issued for the Pentagon. So now we're going to have AI in warfare. How are
Mhm.
you going to provide oversight and a check on the executive for these complicated issues if you couldn't fix the bus? So my not being a part of the establishment, my not being a politician, but instead being a problem solver works to my advantage.
Mhm.
My challenge is to get my message out there. And
Mhm.
that's why I'm thankful for opportunities like this one that allows
Mhm.
me to speak directly to voters, because
Mhm.
yes, Philadelphia has a way that it does things, a way that it has always does, a way that it does things. And a lot of folks have accepted it because ultimately they don't oftentimes hear new messages from new candidates who want to
Yes.
do something different.
Mhm.
That's what I represent. So again, my goal is speak to voters. I've spoken to thousands of voters face to face over the last few weeks and months, and I continue to do that and ramp that up as we get closer and closer to the 2026 midterms. So
Okay.
I'll be out in the streets. If you see me anywhere, please come right up to me. Go to my
Mhm.
website, find me on social media. That's Karl Morris PA on all the platforms. And
Mhm.
that's again, Karl with a K.
Mhm.
And my strategy is speak to voters. I believe that once they hear my message, once they hear what the things are that I want to champion, I believe they'll realize this is a better option than the establishment.
Mhm. You would be considered a dark horse in this race. You would be in your if should you prevail, because we're watching what's happening around the country. People are just tired of the same old stuff
Yeah,
over and over again, and we're seeing more progressive candidates, who call themselves progressive Democrat candidates, that are showing up, and the people are responding to it.
right.
Should you prevail, what would your first 100 days look like? Because Pennsylvania is Pennsylvania is an important state at the federal level in terms of elections.
Yeah,
Uh, Pennsylvania has been a wheel cogged with all kinds of foolishness for God knows how long. I had State Rep Darisha Parker on, and she is fussing that nothing is moving, and she is considered a dark horse because people think that she's just trying too hard and just shut up and take your pictures and smile and move along. How are
right.
you going to change the system slowly? What would your first 100 days look like? Because you're still one person
Right.
in a sea of people who will be serving with you.
Right. So you're identifying the challenge, I think, correctly. And there's the what do you do in the first 100 days, and then what do you do
Mhm.
slowly to try to change the system. I
Mhm.
think broadly speaking, to take the last piece first, I think broadly speaking, you are correct. One person will always face challenges when they're trying to bring change. But I think the way you do it is first you try to build coalitions.
Mhm.
I believe that we should have a new slate of representatives across the country who recognize the
Mhm.
scope and challenges of this new world that we're entering.
Mhm.
But ultimately, it boils down to building coalitions, building consensus. And I believe that the challenges that I want to take on, the things that are facing society right now, are the type of things that we can get people behind, whether you're Democratic, Republican, or Independent. These
Mhm.
are things that will affect the constituents of all representatives. So I want to bring people on board to start to move the needle on some of these
Mhm.
major challenges.
Mhm.
My major field of study and research is artificial intelligence. I've been doing that for about 15 years. That's my doctoral
Mhm.
research, and it's what I do right now. And I recognize how AI is going to impact the job market, as I mentioned, how it's going to impact health insurance and healthcare, how it's going to impact the environment when data centers and power plants start to be built in communities, Black and Brown communities,
Mhm.
people lower on the socioeconomic ladder.
Mhm.
These are challenges that need to be addressed. There needs to be legislation and oversight. When the government starts to use AI to do certain services, are we concerned with bias being in these AI models and how they may impact, again,
Mhm.
marginalized groups?
Mhm.
These are the type of challenges that everyone can recognize is going to impact their constituents. And we can build
Mhm.
coalitions around these and start to write legislation and move the needle forward.
Mhm.
In the first 100 days, however, there are certain low hanging fruits that we can go for. When you see, for instance, how this administration is attacking the citizens of this country, the constitution of this country, those are the type of things we can start to put a stopgap in place immediately. We can do
So
things
why
like,
so why has it not happened? Forgive me, Dr. Morris.
sure,
Why has it not happened? What has been going on in government? If you're doing the research and you're seeing all this happening around you,
right,
what is happening? What accommodations, what compromises are being put in place that puts us at risk? Because for instance, I walked into a Walmart to get one thing that I thought was $9.99, and the cashiers were in there complaining that their jobs had been their hours had been slashed, and they're recognizing that they will not have a job soon. Amazon is laying off thousands of people because they're now using AI. UPS doing the same. You see where this is going? People are
yes,
really becoming desperate out here, and you are the first person that I have heard literally cognitively having a discussion about the impacts have already begun.
right,
It will have on us as a citizenry. Good God.
right.
Good God.
So the simple answer to your question is the folks in Congress, as well as the other candidates running for this seat, frankly, do not understand the technology. It's complicated. They don't understand it well enough, and therefore they don't want to speak about it because they don't want to put their foot in their mouths. That's what it boils down to. But my work in artificial intelligence for 15 years allows me to speak about it. I can talk about it because I've studied how technology impacts communities, how it impacts individuals, and how your characteristics, where you are, or your zip code impact the access that you might have, as well as how you might either benefit or be exploited. So this is my field. This is my area. So
Sir, you're
yeah,
too smart for your
Amazon.
own good. Listen, you are too smart for your own. I'm telling you, you are speaking to things that those of us who have been having these kinds of conversation understand. Are you prepared for the uphill battle that this will be with people coming? What is your strategy for remaining in the race? Because they're coming. They don't
Yeah.
like smart people.
my,
You know?
my strategy is to appeal to the voters. The same thing I'm doing right now. It
Okay.
doesn't matter what the establishment believes. It doesn't matter what donors believe. If I deliver my message to voters and they believe that this is the type of change that they want, at the end of the day, they're the ones entering the voting booth. They're the ones that
Right.
are going to figuratively pull the lever. And if they pull it for my name, then they'll send me to Congress, regardless of what the establishment thinks or prefers.
Right.
So my message is clear. Here's what's going to happen. There will be disruption in the job market. We are hearing projections of 50% of white collar jobs will be lost.
Yes.
You just mentioned that Amazon is it was announced yesterday. They're
Mhm.
they're laying off 14,000
1,000
corporate
people.
jobs, right?
Yes.
White collar
Mhm.
jobs. And as soon as they solve the issues relating to autonomous machines, then you're going to see blue collar jobs, the warehouse jobs, the custodial jobs. Those will be the next ones to go. This is happening. So we have to start having conversations about what the social safety net looks like. We have to have conversations about what worker rights look like. Those are the things that we need to look at, and how we're going to fund the social safety net and strengthen it. That means we need to take a look at taxing wealth. We need to take a look at how we can't tax labor if the labor market starts to shrink. So we
Right.
have to start looking at taxing output and production for these companies that are laying off workers but are seeing an increase in profits. We have to tax billionaires. When you have one man approaching $1 trillion in wealth, yet we have Americans and Philadelphians, people in the third district that are hungry and going to food pantries, that's a problem. But that's a problem we can fix if we're serious. But you won't get there if you send people to Congress, and we keep sending people to Congress who are bought and paid for by the donor class, who are a part of the establishment, and they're only looking out for their own self-interest. Go to my website. You'll see I have a good governance section that speaks to how we can ensure that Congress people are properly incentivized to go to Congress. We don't want them to go there to enrich themselves. We want you to go there because you believe you can actually help solve a problem. And when you've solved that problem, you should be able to walk away. That's why I support things like term limits. I
Mhm.
don't need to be a career politician. I recognize that there is a new, fresh challenge that's going to impact society, both in
Mhm.
America and across the world. I
Mhm.
believe I have a special set of skills, as Liam Neeson says, that I can use to address this problem. And when I feel like we're on the right track, I am perfectly fine stepping away from this and going back to academia, doing the job that
Oh,
I
so I
love.
was about to ask you about term limits because folks run for office until they're keeling over in
Oh,
hallways. I love that
absolutely.
you have updates, Chat GPT, Philadelphia is unprepared. People, I see you have updates that people can actually read about, and you have the key issues. My God, this is so refreshing, so refreshing to look at. I don't even know what to say. I am going to, when I get off the air, scour your website more in depth to see what you are about now. This is quite an uphill battle, as I said before. And you know, there are people out there endorsing other people and unions and all this other stuff, the usual stuff that's going on.
Yep.
Should you not prevail, how will you continue to help and support? What would you join one of these politicians to help them? You know, what would you do should you not prevail? And I know you're Jamaican, so I already know you're not thinking about not prevailing. I get that part. But I'm
We're
just, I'm asking, what would you do should you not prevail to
yeah,
continue to help the people?
we're always making the plan for winning. What we're going to do the day after we win. But
Mm,
I'll say this. Whereas I'm not a politician, and entering a political sphere is a new endeavor for me.
mhm,
I'm not new to helping Philadelphians. I've always recognized the systemic challenges that exist in society, and I've always been doing
mhm,
what I can to help ever since I was in my teens, and
mhm,
volunteering to refurbish computers and deliver to schools that didn't have them, or to visit orphanages and bring gifts and supplies, all the way to today, where for the last 11 years, I've been volunteering almost weekly at a food mission,
mhm,
or working to provide school supplies, books, and school supplies to students,
mhm,
or the coding workshops that I've been working on and setting up for about 9 years across the
mhm,
city, teaching kids to code to strengthen the pipeline for Black and Brown folks to enter STEM and to enter this field.
mhm.
That's not something that will ever stop. I'm always going to help my community, whether I'm doing it from Congress or I'm doing it from right where I'm sitting now in my home.
Mhm.
So that will continue. And I will always try to be a resource for those folks that want the information that I have, and I'll help in whatever way I can. I think I can be most effective in doing so in Congress. It's You don't want to just be another voice in a politician's ear, because those politicians will also have lobbyists in their ear, and they'll have donors in their ear.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, my advice comes for free, but their request comes with a check. And if you're trying to determine which direction they're going to go, you think about it for 2 seconds.
Mhm.
So yes, you have to be sort of have contingencies in place, like what do you want to do. But I will strongly make the case that if we are serious about solving the problems that we all see are coming down the pipe, and I want people to know this is just the tip of the iceberg.
It is.
AI is becoming something that is going to have this outsized impact on every aspect of our lives. My 15 years of experience in this space is what is actually needed in Congress right now. So I want people to realize that these challenges are real. It's not enough to just say, well, we know this politician or that politician, they've been in Harrisburg for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or they're a part of the establishment and they're seasoned. Like, no, what we actually need are citizen legislators who can bring
Mhm.
their skills, their life experiences, their knowledge to bear on the challenges that we have. So the question I will put to Philadelphians and folks in the third district is, do you want the politician or do you want the problem solver?
Let me tell you what Andrea Robin Manley just said. Run down that algorithm, speak, sir. Make it plain. Every problem has a solution, yes. And too often, for far too long, we've believed as citizens that nothing can be solved. I've heard them. I've been on this airwave now for years. Whew. Wow, this year's 10 years.
Mhm.
And have been,
Congratulations.
thank you, and have been listening um, through those various platforms where I have been on the air to people say nothing can change. It's the same old stuff, the same old people. And I have to tell you, you are nothing that I expected. You are a refreshing voice in this conversation, and I cannot wait to hear, because people are now responding to my producer, because we're asking if you don't see a certain politician or politicians on the air, it's not because they were not invited. I want you to be aware. So this platform is being given to those who respond, so we can create the space for them to speak about what their platform is. Now, with the 4 minutes we have left, tell them how they can reach out to you and how they can donate.
So thank you very much. So again, just the easiest way to get to me is my website, carl4congress.us, or just Google me. And that's Carl with a K and 4FOR. I'm not cool enough to use the number. You can also reach me on social media. So that's Karl Morris, KarlMorrisPA. That's on Instagram. That's on Facebook. That's on Blue Sky, if anyone uses Blue Sky. I'm not on Twitter. I closed my account when Elon Musk bought it.
Me too.
So you'll have to find me on the other platforms.
Yes.
And if you go to my website, or even if you go to Instagram, you'll find links to donate there. As much as we're running this outsider campaign, we recognize we're not necessarily going to have the unions and all of these other institutions that have pre-existing relationships with the politicians and with the establishment. But we do have bills. There are things that we do need to do to get folks out on the streets to get supplies. So whatever folks can donate, we would certainly appreciate it. But regardless, we would like your support. We hope you'll hear the message, spread the message, and let folks know that it's not the establishment, it's not the party that determines who gets sent to Congress. It's you, the voter. And you can decide what it is that you want for your lives, for your family, for your friends in your neighborhood. I think I offer a unique perspective and a specific set of skills that can address some of these challenges that are coming ahead of us. And I hope I can get your support.
Dr. Karl Morris, computer scientist, educator, and small business owner. Thank you, sir, for joining us. You are the first person that we have on the air that's running for the Congressional 3rd District in Pennsylvania. We wish you well. For those of you who want to go and visit his website, I just looked. I'm telling you, it is refreshing. Karl for Congress, FOR, KARL, for Congress. He's addressing the issues. He's giving you the stories. He's letting you see the articles so that you're not just voting for somebody sight unseen. Go ahead and check him out. I'm sure your competitors will now go ahead and check you out after this conversation.
I hope they do.
Yeah, but we appreciate your being here with us today. Andrea says Dr. Karl brings a voice to the conversation we didn't realize we needed and never knew we would hear. Thank you for this conversation. Shaquilla says everyone should be tired of the same old BS politicians. Right person, right time. This is the first time they've been introduced to you, by the way. I didn't even know you existed. Let me be clear.
I'm an academic. I've been in my lab. I've been in the classroom.
But
So
that's the way
that
you
makes
were
sense.
raised to do your work, and the work will speak for you. So you've been doing your work. Laura says you're a force to be dealt with and a great interview. She also wants to know, Alexandra wants to know, are you on fan base? Great candidate for our younger voters. We'll show this interview to a young man I know who isn't interested in politics. So you just piqued the interest of my folks, and they will
happy
share.
to hear it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful day, and we wish you well. And please stay aware that I will call upon you again as we get closer to the time to be interviewed again. Okay?
You know how to find me.
I do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.